Let's take a look and try to understand and analyze what has happened in Kolkata on May 13. There was a gruesome murder of a Bangladeshi Member of Parliament that has sent shockwaves across the country. And it is not just that an MP from Bangladesh ruling party Awami League was killed while in Kolkata to get a medical treatment, which has caused a furor, but the way his body was mutilated is downright horrifying. A Bangladeshi immigrant living illegally in West Bengal has confessed to the murder. There are 3 other Bangladeshi nationals who have also been arrested. It is interesting to note that the assassination of the Member of Parliament was ordered by his close friend, who is a Bangladeshi origin US citizen, for an amount of 5 crore rupees. A lot of questions come to mind to unravel the mystery behind this murder. Who is this Bangladeshi US citizen that got the Member of Parliament killed? Is this a political killing? What was the reason for killing this Member of Parliament? Let's start our conversation. I'm being joined by Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist. And Shikha, prima facie, this murder that has taken place, and in such a gruesome manner, and that it took place on 13th of May, arrests right now that have been made. Revelation number 1 that poses questions to the person who orchestrated, who ordered this assassination. A Bangladeshi US citizen who was also apparently a close friend of this Bangladeshi Member of Parliament who has been killed. Can this be touted as a political killing? The fact that he is Member of Parliament, he was Member of Parliament from the Awami League government that is ruling right now in Bangladesh. Could there be his political opponents who were not wanting him to come back to India, to come back to Bangladesh and carry on? And were there any secrets that he may have withheld for which he ended up losing his life?
These are speculations at this point in time, because we don't know the reason for his killing, and then whether it's a political killing or it's some other kind of issue, we do not know. The most unfortunate part of it is that he came for a medical treatment apparently to Calcutta, which a lot of Bangladeshis do, and the health tourism is a thriving sector in Bengal, especially for people from Bangladesh. And this particular incident, when a Bangladeshi national is killed by people who come from across the border, kill him and then go back, which is what we are hearing, is very unfortunate, because it does impact the entire sector of medical tourism, health tourism, that is flourishing in Bengal.
But Shikha, there's one thing that an individual has been killed, and let's keep aside, the brutality in which the man has been killed. But say a Bangladeshi national comes to Bengal or any part of the country for medical treatment, and he gets killed. There's a murder that has taken place, and that's a shocker, and of course it would make national headlines. It would make national headlines in Bangladesh as well. It's quite another that the person is not just a Bangladeshi national, but he is a political leader, Awami League official, Member of Parliament, who has come for his medical treatment, and then it has been killed. That raises eyebrows, and about the question of a political killing, and then on top of it, the mutilation of his body is that is shocking, that's gruesome, that is horrifying for anybody. That itself become headlines.
This is what one would quote unquote call a sensational murder, and because the nature of the killing was such that it's sensational. Yes, it's headline news in India as well as in Bangladesh. But would I jump to the conclusion that this is a political murder and it has an impact? It has an impact in Bangladesh politics, yes. But does it have an impact on Indian politics, or does it have an impact immediately on what is happening because we are in the process of an election? West Bengal votes tomorrow and on the 1st as well. Does that have an impact on domestic politics? I don't think so, not as yet.
Okay. Does it then have any sort of alteration in the way India and Bangladesh have held their ties, the bilateral ties that have also been at the forefront of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has always helped in shaping up our ties with Bangladesh in the subcontinent? Does that also have an impact over here? And of course, the government of India is going to show full cooperation in figuring out about the murder and how it happened and who was the one who orchestrated it, who ordered it, because now it is an India involvement that also comes to fore. And Sheikh Hasina is also obviously going to look into it directly.
Well, obviously, very obviously. I mean, let's be very clear. This particular one MP, his murder does not change the relationship between India and Bangladesh. I know of many more who have come, MPs, ex-ministers, etc., who have come to India. They've come to Calcutta. They've gone to Bombay. They've been to Delhi for medical treatment, in search of medical treatment, and they have sort of negotiated their journey, their treatment, etc., without any hazards. This particular incident is, as I said, it's a sensational murder. One has to wait to see exactly why it happened and who is responsible for it. But it is not a part of India's domestic politics, is what I'm going to say again.
Okay, all right. While there are at this point in time speculations being raised, the BJP leaders are coming out and attacking Mamata Banerjee and how West Bengal is not safe, how there are immigrants who are allowed to come into West Bengal illegally, and this is what happens when illegal immigrants are allowed without any checks and balances in place. All right. Also on the telecast with me is former Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, and Ambassador Sachdev, about the domestic politics of Bangladesh, and if I take a hypothetical view of what has happened with regards to whether it is a political killing, and let's assume it is a political killing, about the very volatile, sensitive situation in Bangladesh with regards to the Awami League that has retained power for many years now, and of course we also have on the other side the other political party where their leader has been put behind bars. We have Khalida Zia and their party coming out and holding protests on the ground. There have been instances of Hindus being attacked. They have been linked to the Khalida Zia party, and it being more of a party that is anti-Hindu, and of course there have been number of instances where there has been an insinuation held that Awami League has been under attack and it is being pressured, and it is being jeopardized in wake of these anti-Hindu attacks. Elections that took place very recently in Bangladesh were case in point. Now, can this be of any linkage to this attack that has happened?
Thank you, Megha. You asked an important question. I am afraid no one has the full details, but whatever has emerged, a line of speculation concerns two friends, the murdered person and the person in the United States, who were allegedly involved in gold smuggling and selling in Kolkata's bullion market. And if this is the case, then obviously it's more of a commercial dispute related issue than a political issue. But we'll have to wait and see. I should applaud Calcutta CID department and Bangladesh police for unraveling this case, which whatever details have been brought out so far show that these were all Bangladeshis who perpetrated this crime on Indian soil, and that raises in itself a, a, an issue of warning about illegal migrants from across the border coming into India. Uh, the UN data on migrants in India talk about 5 million immigrants in the country. And Bangladesh has nearly half of them, and most of them are illegal. So we're talking about 2.5 to 3 million Bangladeshis living in India at the very least. Some people put the number even bigger. This is difficult to verify, obviously, in
Okay.
India, because these people tend to acquire voters list, acquire the ration cards and Aadhaar cards and so on and so forth, and somehow submerge into in ocean of Indian opulence. But the question that remains here is, how is it that a US based Bangladeshi orchestrates murder of a Bangladeshi politician using Bangladeshis who have illegally crossed over into India and then disappeared?
Yeah, that's a
So
very important question that you raise.
that raises very important issue,
Yeah.
and I think it should act as a warning bell for this cross-border uh, people-to-people interaction. We have been liberal, but this need to be seen in the context of soft underbelly of Indian populace and our policies being misused.
DGP BL Vora, very important point raised by Ambassador Sachdev and Shikha Mukherjee, obviously having a contrarian view that it has no impact whatsoever in domestic politics, the elections that are taking place in the country. But that's the very same point on which the opposition in West Bengal, which is BJP primarily, that has attacked Mamata Banerjee. That listen, if your borders were not so porous, if illegal immigration was checked at the borders by Mamata Banerjee, if Mamata Banerjee and the TMC continued to take action and did not allow these illegal immigrants for their quote-unquote vote bank politics, this murder could have been averted.
Ms. Bega, a few things to my mind. It's not a political murder, very clearly. It is something to do with personal enmity, something to do with money, maybe gold or whatever, or maybe even a love affair, something like that. Definitely not a political murder. And the quantum of hatred is so much. The way murder has been taken place, the way body has been chopped and turmeric has been used and all those going into details. So this shows that the hatred was too much, because purpose ultimately, if you want to kill a person, that's enough. You kill and that is done with.
But I don't know, sir, whether this was because of hatred or simply because they wanted to dispose the body in a way that the cops would not find it, that the murder did not come to surface.
Well, obviously, that is why I'm saying it's not a political murder. That is why I was saying this, that hatred, and yes, of course, killers always don't want to leave any trace behind, but that's, every criminal, every thief leaves behind his signatures. Here also they have been arrested. Now, number two, it will not have any bearing on politics in India. It's a political season in India. Elections are going on, so people would blame, BJP will blame TMC and vice versa. All that is going on. But one point which Mr. Sajdev made was very important, that our borders are so open that anybody can come and commit any crime and go back also safely. Now, this has been with us, not for now, it has always been there. Bangladesh border is one of our weakest links. That's why we have about 2 crore Bangladeshi people staying in India illegally, and they keep on coming. So our border, one is of course the nexus. People are mixed up on every side, either side. And second, our systems of enforcement are very, very weak. And surely there is some political encouragement also. So that way it's a blot on India and West Bengal that somebody comes from across the border, does commit the murder here, and then people go back. Of course, people have been arrested also. So I think, seen in this light, it will not, of course, affect any relations between India and Bangladesh. It will not affect maybe some votes here and there. I don't know really. But simply put, it's a murder, not a political murder, according to me, for some other motives. There seem to be gold or women or some such thing, or personal revenge for something. So I think that it's being worked out and police has done a good job. So hopefully they'll be able to know who has done it. And I don't think Bangladesh can blame India squarely for this. Thank you, Megha.
Major Mohammad Ali Shah, what's your view? And particularly the fact that had there been checks and balances put in place, could this murder have been averted, or at least made it amply more difficult for this orchestrator to order the murder, give those 5 crores and allow for a Bangladeshi immigrant to enter into the Indian border in West Bengal and execute this? Can you hear me, Major Mohammad Ali Shah?
Yes, Megha, I can hear you. I think your back-end team had muted me. Okay, the very fact is, a murder takes place on Indian soil in Bengal of a foreigner from Bangladesh, who's a politician, who's an MP of the Awami League, Anwarul Azim Anar. Everything is speculation right now, and I will go as per what I personally analyze. And what I've told and I've read and I've learned is his friend, who is a US national, a Bangladeshi he's based there, he pays 5 crores and he's led to an apartment for his contractual killing. He's led to an apartment where a lady apparently who honey traps him gets him murdered. There were CCTV footages of 2 men who could be seen with green trolley bags, plastic packets. We don't know if that footage is before the murder or after the murder, but that CCTV footage emerged. And these 2 men also are illegal immigrants, are also Bangladeshis. So one thing is clear over here. Our borders are so porous, which before our panelists spoke. Our borders, it is indeed very alarming and concerning. And it's not about BJP making allegations on TMC and Mamata Banerjee. I think whichever government of the day is accountable for a lot of reasons, for porous borders, for crime happening on their soil. Ultimately, the TMC was ruling there, right? So it is the TMC which should be held accountable also. Because how is the police, what are the police doing? What was the intelligence agencies doing? What were the security agencies doing? And what was the security outlet every society as well? I mean, I feel the regime of the TMC in Bengal over the last 10 years has not been satisfactory at all. So the very fact is, if the BJP or the opposition party, or so far I haven't heard the left, the CPI taking advantage of this, but if at all they do, the very fact is TMC has proved unsatisfactory in so many cases. Now, further details are yet not known. Investigations are on. But it is indeed very alarming and concerning. अगर बाहर के देश से कि कोई आके कर सकता है ऐसा हिंदुस्तान में, वो भी बंगाल में, where it's not, I will not say only Hindustan में, because this thing hasn't occurred in Delhi or in UP or in other states. It's occurred in West Bengal, where TMC is certainly in power, and there is no denying the fact the government, the state government of the day, have to be held accountable and responsible.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Very important point made over there and highlighted. Yes.
So most certainly, whether people would say...
Yeah. So again, Shikha, coming to you, when you talk about... and why should it not be, related to politics?
Okay,
when there has been a killing that has taken place, when you're talking about porous borders, there is an illegal immigrant who has been brought into West Bengal in Kolkata. He has been paid off 5 crore rupees. There is a nexus of 4 people, 3 more of these Bangladeshi nationals who have also at this point of time been identified. The questions are, like Major Muhammad Ali Shah said, will be raised on the state government, on the police. What was it doing? What was the intelligence doing at this point? And if it is a deal gone sour, if it is a friend who was based in United States of America of this Bangladeshi Member of Parliament, and it seems as if the Bangladeshi Member of Parliament used to frequent Kolkata much more often. Perhaps it was his regular. I'm coming to you. I'm coming. Let me speak, ma'am. I'll come to you. I'm giving you time. But my question over here is, if it's a deal gone wrong, and if the man used to frequent Kolkata, and it has somehow gotten estranged with this U.S. Citizen, and that's why he's ordered this killing and assassination, what was the government of West Bengal, what was the police in Kolkata doing?
Very quickly, I think Mr. Vohra and Mr. Sachdev very correctly pointed out that the border in West Bengal, the international border in West Bengal between Bangladesh and India is porous. Now, the responsibility for the border does not rest with the state government, number one. The border, as this major who is probably in the army or something would know, the border is not...
I was in the army.
No, please, may I finish? Please let me finish. And then there is the absurd argument which I'm hearing that a premeditated murder,
I take offense to that.
premeditated
I'm being very honest. I'm being
Okay, all right. Yes, absolutely. Fine. Let's not have this.
And this would assume that murderers.
Let's resolve this right here. Major Muhammad Ali Shah, she said that you are a major in the army. Yes, she could have worded it in a much more polite fashion and given the respect for an army man as was due. But Shikha Mukherjee, again, I'm saying, if you're saying that the responsibility of ensuring that the borders are not porous lies on the border police, but it is also at the same time the immigration issue that has been the burning point of contention between the central government and the TMC government.
It is mischievous and it is politically motivated.
What is politically motivated? This murder has been politically motivated, or the kind of narrative that is being built right now?
The narrative that you are now presenting on your program is politically
I am not.
motivated.
I am just asking questions. I'm saying had there not been illegal immigration, would it have been as simple for a Bangladeshi who is living in India, in West Bengal, to kill this individual?
Are you crazy or what?
Let's not go there and start abusing and cursing people, talking about how crazy you are. But ma'am, that's the point. That's the issue. And if you say, of course it is going to be politicized, of course it is going to be used as a tool by the opposition to attack the TMC, to attack the state government, that this gruesome murder has taken place in such a horrifying, shocking way, and they've not been able to do anything. Perhaps this gold smuggling has been carrying on for years and years together. It's a deal gone sour is what my assumption is, logically, and perhaps the Member of Parliament is not cooperating with his friend, and therefore he's decided to kill him. Perhaps he comes in Kolkata, and very frequently so, maybe every third month or 4 months or 2 times in a year, and he is of course having illicit relationships with a number of these women, and that's how the story goes. And this time around, perhaps, like I said, the deal has gone sour. But nonetheless, Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, how do we take this forward? Now that this has happened, this unfortunate incident has happened, will the state government take action in ensuring that there is strict action taken against those who travel into India from Bangladesh? There are checks and balances in place. They have the right certificates. They are not just allowed to, slum in the borders of West Bengal, and or leniency given to them. And mind you, it is a point. It is an assurity. It is in fact a truth that TMC has its vote banks in these illegal immigrants.
Well, I would not like to go into that, but to me the important point is that Bangladeshis need to sort out their problems, crimes and rest of it on their own soil. we should be very strict when it comes to Bangladeshis, politicians, friends turned into enemies, etc., etc., find India as their battleground. And why is it that being done? Is it because we are a softer state than Bangladesh? Is it because the culpability would be more difficult to establish in India? I need to raise these issues, and I would like them to get square answers for the future as well, so that Indian soil is not used by vagabonds from anywhere
Yeah.
for settling their own scores.
Yeah, because it's not just you raise about, there's a murder that has happened, and that too of a politician in India. It raises questions globally how safe India is, and if something of the sort happens, it tarnishes the image of the country. Major Muhammad Ali Shah, you want to make a quick point?
Yes, Megha. Yes, Megha, you're absolutely right. And if such a thing happens on Indian soil, it most certainly tarnishes the image of a country. And we have a global image. We have a global image, and I am really surprised to see a very senior lady with such an unbecoming conduct, using unparliamentary language on international television like crazy and I don't know what not, and defending Mamata Banerjee, defending TMC, defending a party which has not been satisfactory at all. And then accusing somebody else, accusing the anchor for being politically motivated. Oh my goodness, it's rather embarrassing for me. We are not into politics. We are a very neutral party. But when someone tries to defend the undefensible and then blames others, it's rather embarrassing. And the other person says, so what? Even if there was honey trap, if there was illicit relationship, so what? Are we moral policing? We are not moral policing, ma'am. Let me please be clear about, have a clarity of mind what you have to speak on national television. Please do not use unparliamentary languages. You said the major or something. आपकी उम्र में आपको ये अंदाजा होना चाहिए कि मेजर साहब फौज में ही होते हैं, आर्मी में ही होते हैं, नेवी या एयरफोर्स या पुलिस में तो मेजर होते नहीं है.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Point made. On that note, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.